So, ladies and gentlemen, this is a bit of a doody-hooty for you. This is my last podcast for this week only, of course, until next week when hopefully I'm up and running. But this weekend, I am moving house finally. Cannot wait. I've already seen the place more than once. The people that I'm doing an exchange with are the best people I've actually met. They've taught me so much, and I've hopefully taught them a couple of things too. But if not, it's been an absolutely crazy union. So in the meantime, you will still see brand new videos from yours truly being unleashed on the internet. And speaking of unleashed, I'm not talking about the Jet Li film, which is fantastic, with the light grey Bob Hoskins. Also, I am talking about the fact that I've had new subscribers by the dozen, by the daily. It's absolutely crazy. I don't know what's happening. I can just assume that people like Setlick Gaming have actually spread the word far and wide and have got me out there in the recommendations for people who are searching for news like this. And in fact, some people have said, I've been looking for a review on Robin Hood and I came across your video and thought I'll give you a shot, and here you are. So you sir, you madam, I do appreciate you being here today. And without further ado, let's get into the week's wokey stories from around the world, it seems.
It's time to come together.
Seth Rollins, I'm coming for you, boy. And I'm coming hard.
It's up to you. What's your pleasure?
So I'm coming day and night. I mean, it's terrific, right?
Surgeon's knife, Jeeves?
Precisely, Lieutenant.
Yes, I think we may definitely consider the Glossop-Bellinger romance off.
But of course, the main source is always the one I love to go to, Bounding Into Comics. Now, I can take for granted that some of you probably don't even read this website or peruse the articles, or maybe you do, and perhaps you just want me to give you my 5 cents. So why not? Let's talk about the latest one, which again is a catastrophic thing I'm not surprised about. Daredevil, Born Again, the Disney Plus series. They're scrapping it. It is getting the hevo. And look, for the longest time, I've thought to myself, why on earth is Charlie Cox returning to play Matt Murdock? The Netflix 3-season show and The Defenders. Absolutely fantastic TV. I don't know why they need to go back and resurrect it, to make it a bit more appropriate for today's audience. If you watch the original Daredevil series on Netflix, it very much took a cue from Martin Scorsese's Mean Streets with Harvey Keitel and Robert De Niro. And you won't ever see classic TV looking that good, gritty, funny, shocking, harrowing, really badass action. But no, the Disney series, which apparently was going to be 20 episodes, and you were going to have John Bernthal, of all people, one of the basest men on the planet, returning as Frank Castle, aka the Punisher. I mean, what is he going to do before he roughs up a suspect? They're going to tell him their pronouns? Give me a break, man. But what John F. Trent has said here is, it claims that Kevin Feige, or Feige, as Matt Walsh at the Daily Wire likes to call him, and Marvel Studios execs are scrapping the Daredevil Born Again series after reviewing nearly half of the 18-episode show's footage, while the series production was paused due to the WGA strike that began back in July. It's been that long. According to Kit, Marvel Studios canned writers Chris Ord and Matt Corman, as well as the show's planned directors, as they were having a significant reboot of the series. Really? Wow. However, while they have been removed as the series' head writers, they are still part of this new show as executive producers. It's likely a similar case to Doctor Strange's Scott Derrickson getting an exec producer by stepping away from Doctor Strange's Multiverse Madness film because of creative differences. So I can't wait to see what direction the MCU is actually going after. Supposedly, they must have looked at the B-roll footage, right, and they thought, holy shit, there's going to be content creators who are going to roast the living crap out of this. But you know what? I've actually been saying to a friend of mine today that, you know, while I went, like every other guilty party out there, to watch every brand new MCU or MCU films as they were back then, they kind of usurped normal indie films, normal blockbusters, what we consider blockbuster films back in the day, you know, like the Jean-Claude Van Damme's, your Ferris Bueller's. But honestly, man, you know, I'm kind of glad that Marvel has, like Martin Scorsese predicted, the MCU was going to plummet into the side of a mountain and explode. And that it did. So when I see news like this, I don't actually give three sheets to the wind. But I thought this story was bizarre. Fiona Bruce. Now, if you don't know who she is, she's a 59-year-old TV presenter extraordinaire. Fairly easy on the eye. She's got a nice, smooth-speaking voice. But she's been caught up in a race row of all things because she was hosting Question Time, which is on every Thursday, I believe. And do you want to know why she's apologized or why she's been caught up in a race row? I say race row in inverted commas. Here is the offending clip, which, by the way, the BBC have removed from their iPlayer, but it doesn't stop people like me and everybody else from actually replaying it.
I just wanted to make a comment that actually forbidden fruit...
The guy there in the middle, the black guy in the middle, yes, you, sir. Yeah.
It's an interesting time for this to be announced.
So, in case you didn't pick it up, Fiona Bruce says, yeah, the black guy in the middle, yes, you, sir. Now, personally, what Fiona Bruce just said, yes, you, sir, the black guy in the middle, she called him sir. So, she's been polite already. She was polite throughout that salutation. He doesn't look offended. He doesn't look surprised. Maybe he thought he wasn't going to have the spotlight on him. Unfortunately, now he has had the spotlight on him for different reasons. And it seems like the BBC held a gun to Miss Bruce's head and forced her to apologize. It's like if Ncuti Gatwa, the new Doctor Who, was in this audience. And Fiona Bruce said, yes, you, sir, in the middle, you, the black guy, who's going to be the new Doctor Who. Would he take offense? He might do, but then again, he might not, since he's such a wokey-dokey activist of equality. So yeah, we'll probably give him a pass there. It's like if I was sat in the audience and I'm wearing one of my crazy t-shirts and she's like, oh yes, you, sir, with the offensive woman with the big, large breasts on your t-shirt and the spiky hair. I wouldn't take offense to that. I mean, she wouldn't have attributed my color to anything, but she's been descriptive as she can be without offending me. So I find the fact that even some other networks went out and questioned people about it. I know one guy said, well, she could have just addressed him as whatever without attributing his color to the proceedings. That I do say, but honestly, man, I think it's not the fault of Fiona Bruce that this is the way things came across. I just think it's really terrible that the BBC that Kenny Everett used to take the complete mickey out of back in the day is forcing her to do this, because you know why? You know what I'm going to say?
ESG!
Oh, whatever, man. Good luck, BBC. You need all the help you can get. I guess Jimmy Savile, the whole scandal behind him, has really done a number on them.
Anybody who's anybody is here. And they've got their names on all the doors, like DG. That means it's the Director General's office. He's the head of everything. Oh, so exciting. Let's have a look, shall we?
Good morning, Mr. Everett. Welcome to the BBC.
Naughty DG.
But the last story today, again, we're back to Marvel, folks. We can't escape them. They are to restructure their TV division, lending credence to claims that the new WGA deal would eliminate woke diversity hires. Oh my God. That's kind of true. That's why a lot of people have said that when negotiations are over and when people go back to work in Hollywood, we're not supposed to see woke garbage anymore or diversity hire because you've made the color purple. Unfortunately, they have with Halle Bailey, because the Steven Spielberg classic from 1985 with Danny Glover and Oprah Winfrey before she became the most annoying person on the face of the earth a few years later was a very good film. Depressing, yes. Is it Sunday afternoon cannon fodder? No, it's not. If you're on a desert island, would you ever watch it again? No, you wouldn't either. So the fact that Steven Spielberg, a Jewish white guy, gave some people a big standing platform in the drama about domestic abuse and racism, and they decided to remake it with Halle Bailey from The Little Mermaid. And you know what? No one's going to give a shit about the remake. The original's a classic. Go and watch it. Yeah, I forgot to mention as well, Whoopi Goldberg, of all people, is in it, and she was fairly good back in the day. A new report details that Marvel Studios is restructuring its Disney Plus television division. And, what do we have here? Aliqua Cox, no relation to Charlie, as Maya Lopez in Marvel Studios' Echo, or in other words, Latina Long John Silver. Screenwriter Script Doctor detailed how the WGA deal would eliminate woke diversity hires during an appearance on Midnight Edge in the morning show. And of course, he talks about show running a particular union of writers like Kevin Feige does with the MCU. It gives them a bit more power in who they select for writing positions in the minimum staffing mini rooms. And it also says that whoever they select has to be approved by the company, or the showrunner has to argue for them to be involved. Now, with regards to those rooms, you have showrunners that would. Only a real showrunner, a good showrunner, is only going to hire writers that are going to get value out of their room. That's right. I mean, if you watch Daredevil, you had some fantastic people. Drew Goddard, one of the main guys behind Daredevil, why it was so successful. You need people like him to handpick the best show writers and the best actors out there. Do you know what I mean? But in the last few years with Marvel, it's been, well, we hired this person to direct Black Panther because they were black and we needed somebody black. But honestly, if you got somebody white, they probably would have done a far, far better job than Ryan Coogler. And also, case in point, you had the Russo brothers, who probably gave us the best iteration, the best debut of Black Panther in Captain America Civil War. People don't talk about that for some reason, but if you watched it again, like King T'Challa is a much more grounded and rounded out character in that film than he was in his own solo movie. So what more do I have to say, ladies and gentlemen, except for the fact that I want to thank you very much for joining me today on this stupendous, or maybe stupid podcast. Fiona Bruce making a faux pas. Oh my God. Daredevil, born again, maybe for the third time perhaps, and might get lucky because things happen in threes. And that last story I mentioned about the MCU and the television division, nobody cares, do they? But you know who does care? Me to you, because if you're a woman, you're like Lionel Richie. You're 3 times a lady, but thankfully not 3 breasts like in Total Recall. So ladies and gentlemen, maybe the next time you do see me, I'll have a new surrounding without a green screen, which should be pretty exciting. Or I might still be finding my new ground in my new abound. And on that one, ladies and gentlemen, if you were me and if I were you, you better come back for the next video.